Hey everybody, welcome back to PowerModz. We're going to do our little question and answer period here, but before we do that, I want to show you what happened to the Polaris IQR when I was out riding. Yes, I broke the front end. I hit a rock, snapped. Actually, the heim joint that connects to the bottom or inside this spindle here, these aren't Polaris factory parts. They're actually made by Alternative Impact. And the part that broke is the part that's supposed to break when you really nail something hard. When it breaks, it saves your A-arms, and that's what you want. It saves your front end. Like I could have been into a $200 repair, now 30 bucks. It was my bad, I should have had an extra heim joint with me, then I could have just repaired it out on the trail. But, if hindsight were 20/20 kind of thing. But we made it work. I got back, I had no steering. I basically had to have the skis straight, and we're in a pretty bad spot, and I had to ride it out on the tail the whole way, just leaning all over the place. But I did it, and it was a good thing we brought this right here. This is the TRA clutch holding tool. That was in the bag of goodies that we had because we were doing a little bit of clutching on the Rev. Well, thankfully, we had that, and it just worked out perfect. I'm gonna do this here, and I'll show you what happened. Where we ride, it's like a minefield. You never know what you're going to hit when you're going to hit it. And this is the little joint that broke right here. It actually broke on the threads. Sheared right off. But that's a good thing, because my arm's still nice and straight. The little steering rod there, the tie rod, it's a little bent. I can fix that. But I got to thank Dan at Alternative Impact. He's great. I called him right from the, just looking at this thing when the ski was pointing backwards, and he put 2 in the mail for me right away. That's the kind of thing you want. You want the service, and you want the ability to have a little sacrificial something on there. Something's going to give before anything else does. It's more expensive. So that's all right. I'm happy about that because we got a good day of riding in, and that video is coming. Another thing, check this out. Dirt on there, dirty old sled. Air fuel monitor, just got that from Jaws Performance. Built the pipe and the can for this, and the wide pipe. I'm gonna hook it up to this. I wanna see where the carburation settings are at right now, what kind of air fuel mixture I'm running. I know it's running pretty rich. It was mild out when we were out yesterday, but I'm still having that issue. So I'm going to hook that up. We're going to do some playing around. I'm going to make a bigger intake for it because I don't think that this 800 is getting enough air through this tiny little 600 pipe. A lot of guys are running that, and you know what? I think they're losing out on the power. Now, when I had this in at Jaws, they dynoed it at 150 with the air box off. I didn't supply the air box, so he figured I was just going to be running with it off because he deals with all kinds of applications. He just dynos what he gets. So it was set up more or less for running with the airbox off. Now that the airbox is on, things get a little richer, and that's just the way it is. Got to do a little bit of tweaking with that. What else is going on here? Got the dragon button. So we're going to use that. I'm going to hook that up. No idea how it's going to work with the 800, but I'm going to use it for the races. We have some races coming up in April. Bunch of other stuff. The wrap is going on it soon. ECD Customs is making the custom wrap for it. We're just working on all the measurements so we can get all the sponsors' names on there, and this thing is going to look pretty darn sweet. And I am happy with this. It was rocking yesterday. There's no doubt about it. Had a great time on it. Okay, now it's time for question and answer, and I'm just going to go through these as they pop up on my phone. Here's a new one. How come you don't drive cats? Well, we have a cat. There's one outside. It's a cameraman's. I can't have them all. We're eventually going to try to get everything, but we can only do so much. This has consumed a lot of time this winter already. As you know, the Enticer is still on the back burner right there, and so is the Elan. I've got videos in edit right now. I've got, all kinds of hours of stuff. I'm still working on it all. This has to be dialed in, the rev's got to be dialed in, then we're on to the other things, and there will be cats coming. Not quite sure what we're doing, maybe some ditch banger stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. Stand by for the cats. Let me see, what's this? Hey dude, I want twin pipes on my EFI cat. Do I need a boondocker? That I don't know. Best thing to do, call Jaws Performance. He'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Why were there no Arctic cats? Same deal. This is at the Sneak Peek 2015. Polaris Ace looks like a great machine for people with acceptability issues. I think what they mean is accessibility issues. Maybe easy to get in and out for people with handicaps. I don't know. It is very easy to get in and out of, that's for sure. Yamaha impressed me with that $2,500 turbo kit, and their blue and orange graphics are just sexy. I'm sad Skidoo didn't really come up with anything interesting though. And that was from the 810 dude. That Yamaha does look pretty darn good, I'll be honest with you. It's a pretty sharp looking machine. I don't always dig the heavy sleds, but there's always a place for them. Let me see here. Somebody sent me a video on how to do a Rubik's Cube. Now this is on the Ford stuck. Ford pulls it out. This is when I pulled Keeley out of the snow the other day. This is from a guy called Richard Smith. Wow, so I take you are not a Chevy fan. That's too bad. I liked your channel. Oh well, you just lost a member. You know what? I like and dislike everything just as much as every other thing. You know, I got a great deal on that Ford. It's a crew cab. The Chevys, the second row is kind of small. So I wanted to have something a little bigger for the guys, for their legs when we're going on those long hauls. You know what? I love Chevys, Duramaxes, the Dodge with the Cummins in them. They're all good. They all have each one has their drawbacks kind of thing as well. I love Toyotas. I've got a Land Cruiser, turbo diesel. It's rocking. You know, everything works for me. Buddy, you can leave if you want. Stick around. Who knows? You'll maybe see something you like here in the future. This is from Max through my PowerModz website. I'm modifying a 76 GS 340 Yamaha, but first I need it to run. The only thing that is not letting it run is the carb. It has one of those old K-Hin carbs with all the manifolds, and it leaks and it's all messed up, and I'm wondering what kind of carb I can put on it to make it run. I was thinking of a newish model without all the manifolds, blah, blah, blah. That's from Max Henning. Max, the best thing to do is go to the Antique and Classic Snowmobile Club of Canada, go into their little help section there and post the question. Somebody will have dealt with this. That's a pretty popular old sled, and they'll be able to help you out really easily. I can't tell you what kind of carb is going to go on there. I could probably make something fit, but there's a whole bunch of tuning that needs to go. Somebody's probably been down this road, and I'm sure they can help you on that website. This one's from Dwayne through my PowerModz website. What was the polish you used on the tunnel? I used the Sled Bright metal polish, this stuff right here from swabbies.ca. It does work awesome, and it's time to do some polishing actually. That video is going to come up soon. If it's really bad, if your tunnel's really bad, use their AlumaClean as well. That really accelerates the process, and the stuff works awesome. I mean, anything that saves me time and effort is a good thing, and that does it. Let me see here. Running the power lines. I'm sure you use belts every couple of days. The belt on the Rev, I just changed it out with all that racing, and I mean, you haven't seen a lot of the racing and the hard stuff I've done on it. I've got 500 miles on that belt, and that's the Ultimax XS belt. I pound it, and it's still good. It's going to go in for just normal trail running, but for racing, I always put a new belt on it. We're hard on belts. The only time we blow a belt is if our clutches aren't aligned. That's it. We've never had a problem. Even when Keeley was running his free ride, they have a tendency to chew up belts because they get so hot. We never had a problem with the Ultimax XS as well. Let me see. I like the IQR. You did a great job. That's from Alex Niemi. Thanks, Alex. Seems like your Rev before the 827 had more power and pulled more wheelies than the IQR. The Rev with the RK Tech 827 Big Bore has a lot of power. Don't forget that this IQR is basically a stock 800 Polaris. There's really been nothing done to it other than the pipe, which we got another good solid 10 horsepower out of it, but it's not like a big bore. It's stock, it's reliable. That's kind of the way I wanted to start out. I want to see how it works. We have a few things in plan for the future. Right now I'm going to just, break it in, keep the break-in cycle going. I'm brapping the throttle a lot because I don't want to hold it wide open for too long. But I love it. Works great. And don't forget that this has a 163 on it, and it's got that carbon fiber Nex-Tech mono suspension, which is built for higher horsepower sleds, and it has a tendency to keep the front end down, and that's what you want when you're really riding the powder. You want the front end down because you don't want to be doing this. As soon as you start to come up like that, you're actually starting to trench, and it's not a good thing. The Rev, yes, it's got the power. It'll do this all day long, but that's got that nasty old free ride suspension on it, which is going to be coming off, and the Easy Ride is going to be going back on it. That free ride suspension just wants to trench all day, and I'm not a big fan of that. Keep playing with the IQR. This is from Green 1. To me, it looks like the center of gravity is a little high for what you're doing with it. Skid, not transfer, a bit tippy. Nope, not tippy at all. Actually, I may have a little bit too much pressure in the rear shock. There's only one shock on this. But in the powder I was riding on, it was awesome. And just doing those little drops, coming down hard on the suspension, the Elka shocks, and that Nex-Tech suspension is sweet. Loving it. What a blast, darn right. Had a great time doing that. This is on the Polaris 800 IQR mountain mod drops. Why is your tack on sideways? If you look in the videos, my tack is twisted or it's clocked so that I can see exactly where my revs are going. It's just an easier point of reference. A lot of guys do this, racers do this. They'll clock their tack. So when you hammer on it, it's an easy look down. You can see that if that needle is pointing straight up and down, that you're at your peak RPM. It's where it's supposed to be. If it's off to the side, you've got to look and see where the numbers are. If, you might be off by a few hundred RPM, but if it's standing straight up and down, that's where you want it. When are you putting the decals on this bad boy? Good question. Like I said, ECD Customs, they're building the wrap for it right now. The prototype should be done soon. The pictures, I'll put it up on my Facebook page. Check it out. Love the sound. Oh, it sounds awesome. I do. I love the sound too. Very nice. Thank you. No, it's not there. Let me see. Hi, Louie. I was wondering what would be the best choice between a Jaws trail can versus an MBRP. Thanks in advance. To tell you the truth, I've never used the MBRP. I like Greg's products at Jaws, so that's what I use. I trust that he does a lot of work to make sure that they work just perfect for you. This comes from Caton H. I thought you put that Easy Ride from the other Summit build. Yes, I did put the Easy Ride in the Rev, but I swapped it out because I need to rebuild the Easy Ride. I've been pretty hard on it. It's going back in. It's in pieces, yep. I paid $800 for that, used. From Tim, Hey, is it possible that blipping the throttle, like going brap, 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 would cause the wear to be ovalish lengthwise in the cylinder wall? If that's the case, every one of my snowmobiles have ovalish cylinders because I brap it all the time. I have no idea. But it wouldn't stop me from doing it because it sounds so darn good. This is from a fella, this is from Robert Noakes, talking about the Shelburne products. Sled starts a big long email. Added it to the old Tundra and the Phantom. Starts right up, continues running until warmed up. Don't have to keep giving it the primer. Going to do more riding to see how it runs. Very cool. Some of these are just saying, hey, thanks for putting the videos up, helpful to a lot of people. I really love what you're doing with that VK. I would buy it if it was over here. This is M8PWA. My dad has a VK3 with AC mountain skis. Made all the difference. That VK is awesome. We love it. Getting a little bit of ratcheting in high gear now, so I'm gonna have to take the chain case out and transmission out and take a look at it. This is from Eric through my PowerModz website. I'm interested in buying a Skidoo Tundra Extreme, but I want to make a tune-up in performance parts. Could you do a Tundra PowerModz Extreme? That would be awesome. I'd love to. Those Tundra Extremes are great, but like I said, I can only do so much. I have some cool plans for this summer. Hopefully everything works out. You guys stay tuned for that. I still have more build videos for this sled, actually. Holy moly. That's a long one. Can't get to that. Hey, when are you posting more videos about the Enticer build? Soon. We're getting on it. There might be a little bit of snow left when we do it. But yeah, it's under there. It's got the blanket on it. Sorry, guys. I bite off a lot. You know, it's tough for me. I want to get everything done, right? I try. Jody Jenkins, he says he has it in land too. Right on, Jody. They're awesome. Stephen Hayes from Trail Track. You guys got to wait till you see this video. I installed the anti-lock brakes on a Polaris Indy 800. It's an amazing system. You stop quicker. It doesn't lock up on you. It's a really neat thing. You can turn it on and off. It's pretty darn cool, and it'll make your machine safer. The clutches, if you're going really fast and you lock the brakes up, you'll hear that clanking of the clutches, right? Bang, you know, the sheaves are slamming up on it, and then you hammer it again and they bang it again. This doesn't allow that, and it also puts your clutches in more or less in a position that they're ready to rock and roll again, so you have better response right off the line, or right after braking. The 700 Skidoo Mod Sled episode 37 was the Rev. Yeah, that Rev that we're riding right now, the 827, actually had the 700 in it, and then I smoked the piston in it, in the cylinder, because I wasn't running it rich enough. I was running it at 50 to 1. I should have had it at 32 to 1. A little bit of a brain fart. So then we put the 800 in it, and now it's the 827. I have the 700 motor. That might be going in a bit of a water crossing type sled this summer. But I agree with you, it was a great build. And you know what? That sled had about 132 horsepower. It was pretty good. Hello, I'm looking at purchasing a 2008 Skidoo Summit XP 800 154. I heard these sleds have problems with the front ends. Is this true or just haters hating? I love the videos, by the way. I'm deployed to Afghanistan, and they really help pass the time. Great job, thanks. Hey, thanks for your support, and thanks for what you're doing. The 2008 Summit XP. The Achilles heel to the Summits are the front ends, as far as I'm concerned. There's a grip and rip bracing you can get. It's going to stiffen things up a little bit if you take a frontal impact. You know, the Revs, you've seen Keeleys possibly all smacked up. If you take out the front end on them, it can be a real time-consuming and expensive thing. That's one of the issues that I really don't like about the Skidoos are the front ends. But it depends on what kind of riding you're doing. For us, I mean, I'm hitting rocks all the time, snapping A-arms and busting things up, as you guys see. It's tough on those dues. That's just part of what it is that we do. You just have to accept the cost of that. If you're trail riding that, you should be okay. If you get into a big accident, doesn't matter what your front end is, or how easy it collapses, still gonna cost you big money. When I made the video about the Shelburne fuels, it's a safety siphon, it's the jiggler, they call it a bunch of different things. It's just got a little check valve in the bottom of it. You can get it at kimpex.ca. I'm in Sweden. This is from Max Backman. I'm in Sweden and we have 98 octane right from the fuel station. Wow, that's awesome. Fuel quality is much better overseas, guaranteed. This comes from Bartek Gadjewicz. Hello, I found a film on the YouTube and your comment on Bubba Kinetic Rope. Is it advised for Defenders too? How much would it cost me to buy and ship to Poland? Thanks. Bartek, you might want to call Bubba Ropes, bubbarope.com, and ask them what the shipping cost would be. Yes, you can use it with your Defender for sure. They have a rope exactly for your application, and it's an amazing product, and I just love it. We just about got to use it on a tractor trailer yesterday, but we didn't have the pintle hitch on the truck, and I'm pretty upset about that. But it's an amazing thing. Please change tires. Somebody said to change tires on my Land Cruiser. I love those tires. I'm gonna leave them the way they are. The 700 Skidoo Mod Sled episode 37 was the Rev. Yeah, that Rev that we're riding right now, the 827, actually had the 700 in it, and then I smoked the piston in it, in the cylinder, because I wasn't running it rich enough. I was running it at 50 to 1. I should have had it at 32 to 1. A little bit of a brain fart. So then we put the 800 in it, and now it's the 827. I have the 700 motor. That might be going in a bit of a water crossing type sled this summer. But I agree with you, it was a great build. And you know what, that sled had about 132 horsepower. It was pretty good. I think PowerModz should mod a 4-stroke, supercharge a turbo and can it. Should do it on a Viper. I agree, we should. Hopefully we can get to that. Hi, just watched some of your videos and wondering how I can get my hands on some PowerModz stickers. www.laddperformance.com. He's got the stickers for you. And beanies, like little toques. And we're gonna get some hats soon and some other wear. It's gonna be pretty cool stuff. So you contact him, you get your stickers. Can you swap primary clutches from a Yamaha to a Polaris? I believe some of the older Polaris clutches have the same taper. You might be able to fit it on a Yamaha, but the issue might be the offset of the clutch. You might have to offset your secondary or bring it in or out. I'm not quite sure. I can't say for sure. You know, check on some of the forums. Might be a good idea just to see, because man, they change clutching things up and it can get confusing and you don't want to put the wrong one on. If the taper's different, it's going to start to wobble. Then you're in a whole bunch of nightmare. It's going to put your crank out of sync and just wreck your clutch. It won't be good. Thanks for teaching me how to crack a coconut. And those kids are awesome. Yes. Yeah. I showed people how to open up coconuts a couple of years ago. Pretty funny. I love coconut juice. Coconut water is the best electrolyte you can get. It's better than any Gatorade and all that junk. I drink coconut water after all my workouts. Awesome. Fluid replenishment right away. The Japanese used to use it as an electrolyte. They would actually use it as blood plasma, not plasma, but as a, during the war, they used it as a, whatever, as a fluid replenishment right into the vein, so I'm told. From BC Sledder, failed side hills are always funny to watch, darn right. Keely and I, not so good, but always fun to try, right? This comes from Freeride 600. The revs really responded well to dropping the airbox and putting K&N air filters in place. About 5 pounds lighter, more space under the hood, cleaner air to carbs, throttle bodies, and no powder bog. When it comes to that, yeah, I'm not a proponent of removing airboxes just because, you know, everything is set up to run with that airbox on it. So when you take the airbox off, you're affecting the jetting. You could run leaner as soon as you do it. And not only that, but when you have a carb, there's a venturi, the air gets pulled into it. If you lengthen it with a K&N air filter, you know, it sort of comes out more. It actually affects the way the air actually goes into it. And when you have air filters underneath the hood of a snowmobile captured inside there, it's drawing hot, extremely hot air, especially if you're, you know, riding on a really mild day. Your under hood temps are 60, 80, 90 degrees, whatever, very hot. So now you're bringing that real hot air in and stuffing it through your motor and making it hotter, and you're actually bringing down the performance of your motor. So although there might be lots more room to play in there, what you want is a cold air intake. So you want that stuff on there. You want to bring it up and take as much cold air from the outside as you can. On the Rev, SLP has a cold air intake. I'm making my own for this. It's going to help out a lot, give me more breathing, but I know a lot of guys like to put different types of filters on, take those air boxes out. Unless it were a specific application where I stuffed a motor into a smaller housing and I couldn't get an air box in there, I would never take the air box out of a sled again. I've done it, I've played with it, it's not good. I don't recommend you do it. You know, you had good luck with it, Freeride 600. That's good, but knowing what I know now, I wouldn't really do it. Dave here from Dead and Buried Power Sports in Sudbury. Awesome videos, great idea. This is the removing the clutch with the water method on the Skidoo Rev. You can't do that with a lot of different sleds, but I do it with the Rev often because Jamie wrecked my clutch pulling tool. At least I think it was him. I don't know if he's admitting to it. Dave uses grease, but never water. Keep up the good work. I just don't use grease because I don't like grease getting in there around the drive shaft or the crankshaft. I don't want it on the taper. You've got to make sure that taper's nice and clean. Water, on the other hand, if you're outside and it's really cold, you got to pop it off. The water can freeze inside there, and if you try to put the bolt in, you're going to run into issues there. Ideally, you got to use a clutch puller I just use what I have when I can find it, if I can. If it's not wrecked, shop's a little messy. Okay, this is from John L. on the snowmobile mods you can do to make your sled perform better. He said, good tips, but one big advertisement. Well, there's not a whole lot you can do on your own to make it perform better. You're going to need to add some components that are going to cost money that you're going to have to get from different manufacturers. And I just tell it like it is. I mean, that's what I use to make it perform better. There are other things you can do. You can cut your own vents, make your own screening. Those are all pointed out in other videos that I do. But you know what? I get a lot of cool products. I got to tell people about them. I like them. I don't get everything given to me. I have to buy a lot of stuff. My bank account is like really down low, and I have no money. So yeah, I've spent a lot of money this year. And one fellow says here that I look like a hitman. Well, last person who said that to me, I whacked. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you come back next time. Check out my other videos. Got some cool videos of this coming up. And I hope you check out the 2015 Snowmobile sneak peek video. Very cool. Some cool sleds. Arctic Cat wasn't there. I can't help that. Thanks for watching.
Make it impossible to find